15 arcades that opened without KCCA consent closed down in Kampala. Police denies holding Lumbwe but has constituted 15 cases against him. Tunisia launches vaccine open day for walk-in inoculations. And in sports, Team Uganda expected back on Tuesday to be received scientifically. Hello there and welcome once again. We are coming to you live on air and online from Broadcast House here on Nile Avenue. On sign language, it is Elizabeth Nakakoni and I am Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma. Let's get started. Kampala Capital City Authority has closed 15 arcades that reopened without the body's approval in Kampala. Now it follows the President Museveni's warning on strict observance of guidelines to regulate big gatherings. We have this report.
Last month, President Museveni lifted the partial lockdown of 42 days, with the different sectors resuming operation. The president warned the Ugandans to observe the standard operating procedures to curb the spread of coronavirus.
I would like to remind you all that COVID-19 control and prevention is the responsibility of everyone. I therefore urge all Ugandans to adhere to the COVID-19 SOPs, wash hands with soap and water frequently, wear face masks, social distancing, avoid mass gatherings, avoid touching your mouth, nose and eyes.
Although many sectors resumed operations, arcades were put on hold to allow inspection and monitoring if they conform to set guidelines.
Ebikola nga tebinatuukiriza bituufu byabateerwawo ti nga bamaze okuddayo ne bafuna certificate ne babagamba okufuna okuggulawo so kati galawo ebintu byobulungi ono ye bannannyini kizimbe bagabe batuggaddewo until nga bamaze obbawa certificate ekola ki ebakkiriza okuddamu okukola. During inspection, 15 arcades that reopened without assessment of KCCA were sealed off. Among these, Justin Arcade, Arua Park A and B, Light Arcade did not survive.
Tunonye sente tuzatungechokulya ate nga batukala kyokka nga ate munda muno bagoma office gorawo temuli nti katale ogenda mu katale era nakasero no window zikubyeko zirimo emitwalo nga mukaaga efe abataweza n'abantu bitano mu kizimbe ngate tufulume ate nga tetubeera mu rukuubo tuli mu office gyomayina mu office nga tubabisaba wamu ne minisitule y'ebyobulamu bannange mutuyambe ibizeemu kuba abantu bange bali bubi.
Along Nassar Road, traders blamed the KCC officials for bribery, leaving many buildings in operation, yet they don't meet the standards.
Yes, our Minister of Yabulamu and KCCA. While Kwasaganyizzo omulimu guno mu bwangu okusinziira ku mbeera eriwo eri abasuubuzi bange obulimi bwe bayina bakati abamu ebizimbe bikyali biggale bannabakwete binabakolebwako naye ng'ate bituukiriza ki ebisaanyizo for example ekizimbe nga kye amakubo gaakyo gonna gayingiza buki bulungi.
Ivan Juko, UBC News.
Thanks, Juko, with that report there. Now, those are the affected arcades and they have to do otherwise in order for them to reopen. Ugandan blogger Fred Kajubi Lumbwe, who is based in Turkey, is to face 15 cases following available police investigations. However, in a weekly press briefing, police have denied being in possession of Lumbwe, as we hear in this report.
Late last week, State Minister for Foreign Affairs Okello Oryem addressed the country on the arrest of blogger Fred Kajubi Lumbwe in Turkey.
I have been following this story closely, that Lumbwe, on arrival with his other accomplices, will be received or they already been deported and they're en route to Uganda, where they'll be in Uganda probably in the early hours of tomorrow morning.
To date, the arrival of Lumbuye in Uganda is still uncertain. Police have confirmed for having opened 15 case files against the blogger who is not yet in their custody.
That is where our boundary is, whether it's in the country or whether it's not yet in the country. For us, our interest as the police is that once he is handed over to the police, we shall process him along these 15 case files that were opened against him. So I want us to be very...
The Immigration Department also reiterated police statement on Lumbuye.
I do not have any information pertaining the arrival or entry of Lumbuye. When we get it, we shall let you know. Or when we get him, we shall let you know. But I do not have any information indicating that Lumbuye entered Uganda.
The Immigration Department also cautioned the public on the increasing forgery of travel documents.
David Kimani, who was blacklisted for repeated violation of entry procedures. He was returned but also blacklisted because he has kept on persistently attempted to dodge immigration and enter without having proper documents.
Meanwhile, in the course of last week, police recorded 78 major incidents which claimed 56 lives. 46 suspects were arrested, and among the deaths, 17 were murder and 8 mob justices.
A few, the criminals take advantage because there are no many people moving at night to rescue. Somebody has enough time to do all what he needs. So we still call upon people to mind about their security and ensure that they are at home.
In the first week of easing lockdown, 2,067 were arrested for violating SOPs, 907 vehicles and 3,282 motorcycles were impounded. Abdul Nasir Lubwama, UBC News.
The latest there in that report, of course, telling the community that Lumbuye is not yet here in the country. Now to matters pertaining to land. Minister for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Judith Nabakova, has halted an impending eviction of over 3,000 tenants in Nachinga, Birinzi and Kasanja villages in Bukakata sub-county, MASAKA district. In a letter dated 5th August, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, wrote to Lands Minister raising a complaint by the area Member of Parliament, Ronald Kanyike Evans, of an impending eviction.
The Minister of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Judith Nabakova, has stopped an imminent eviction of over 3,000 tenants from land in the areas of Nachiga, Birinzi and Kasanje in Bukoto East, MASAKA district. This follows a memo penned to her by the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, following the area Member of Parliament outcry, Kanyike Ronald Evans, to the Speaker of Parliament. As the saying goes, a stitch in time saves a nine. The Minister of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Judith Nabakova, rushed to MASAKA to avert the pending eviction.
Ndi musungu wavunyo ku basajja ba. Kuba bakyayisiza omusajja President Museveni. Beatenga bamodema beganti fe tuli bantu bo. Oyo Chaimani. Ettaka lyali lyabwe kasi lya bantu bonna. Lino ttaka lyona lya government. Mutuyambe, mutukurire omuntu owansi. Bino nibyo byawanguza nibyo byaremesa Museveni kufuna karuru wano Masaka.
The meeting, which was convened at Nachiga village, almost turned ugly as residents poured out their anguish before the minister.
Kati nafune tuwuza batutulugunya batugobaganya tulagewa n'abaana n'abazzukulu tulagewa abamu tetukyaswana ba house girl titunagenda wali bakuwa akalimu okole
saba bakutwale bakwase president yakole nteekateeka yaffe abafunzi kati gwe naalongo tunulira omukyalo ono kubasimanyira.
Flanked by the area MP, Ronald Kanyike, The Deputy RDC Masaka District and area security officers Nabakoba calmed down tempers and assured the tenants that nobody will evict them.
Kiddako nga tuva wano DPC woli n'abakulu abaddiso mbasaba ebigenda maaso ku ssaawa eno biyimirizibwe status kubanga ettaka tulabye nga liriko enkaayana enkaayana ezo n'okwemulugunya bisooke bigonjoolwe bwe binaamala okugonjoolwa olwo ekinaaba kisaliddwawo kikomezebwewo mu batuuze oba ebinaaba biddiridde bibeere nga bibategeezebwa.
Local leaders and area land committees were accused of connivance by the residents.
Febero siwanu amataka agamanene bagatunde waggulu tebagatunde wansi wazira goli bwajja okubuuza ettaka lino liri tyango mugantu bwe yagala digula laba mukulu ona wakowa oleki ogule ettaka nga liriki era ogwo omulimu mbadde ngukoze.
The area member of parliament tendered in the tenant's pleas on addition to what he had already forwarded to the Speaker of Parliament.
Abantu abasewasiga akazigo nti ate bazze kubalwanirira omukulu eyabadde wano ye yali chairman wa Masaka Land Board District Land Board mukulu Peter Senkungu chairman we Naremo wa Masaka be bakola emivuyo gy'ebyapa bino byonna be bakola emivuyo egyo.
Nabakoba ordered the area police commander and other security agents to investigate the alleged frauds on the contested land.
DPC sagala kuwuliza nti ate abantu kakati babagoba babasalako nga ebyo report ze twagala tezinnafulumizibwa. Twagala reports ezo zisooke ziveeyo tulabe oba ddala ebintu byakolwa mu butuufu nga bwe birina okukolwa. Ne bano okulaba nti balinako ebibanja byabwe oli ayagala okubatunda abategekedde kubatwalawa kubasenza luti kukola ki.
The minister's decision left tenants in wider jubilations. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
In a related development, a High Court has issued a temporary injunction stopping government from paying Dodoviko Mwanje over 300 billion shillings, money meant for buying St. Peter's Church of Uganda land in Endeavour. Principal Judge Dr. Flavian Ndejejes, based on the prayers by lawyers representing St. Peter's and the pending suit in High Court to determine on who is the owner of the land in question. Deborah Namamonde reports.
St. Peter's Church of Uganda devotees and alleged owner, also wife to the late Bishop Dunstan in Subuga, Lucy in Subuga, filed a suit in High Court Civil Division challenging the payment to the claimant of the land, Dodoviko Mwanje. In the suit filed before the Principal Judge, Dr. Flaviana Jaiza, asked court to hold payment until the decision on the official landlord of the land is made. In High Court Civil Division before the Principal Judge, Dr. Flaviana Jaiza, after perusing both sides' submissions, granted the application. Following this ruling, the government is halted from paying Dodoviko Mwanje until High Court Civil Division pronounces itself in the main suit.
Yes. So now that you are not opposing the application, so let it be granted. I'm granting the application, and then we shall then set other.
On 11th May 2021, the government planned to pay over 300 billion to Dodoviko Mwanje, the alleged owner of the said St. Peter Church of Uganda land on Block 7, Plot 39 at Mengo.
Because once the money is paid, the issue of ownership will be settled once the money is paid. But we are not aware if that money is paid, does the church retain the land? Does the land become land for the government, and the church becomes maybe someone who uses the land or squatters? All those issues are not yet addressed.
Council Jamiru Mpima Sennoga represented St. Peter's Church of Uganda devotees.
Next, we are going to get a hearing date for miscellaneous application 1115 of 2020. We are going to get a hearing date, then we are going to hear it after court has passed the ruling. If the ruling is in our favor, it will effectively cancel the judgment. It will effectively cancel the judgment that transferred the land. And from the church to other people.
Dodoviko Mwanje, the respondent in this matter, was represented by Counsel James Nangwara. Talking to Dodoviko Mwanje after court, he was also happy with court's ruling, as he waits for High Court's decision on who is the official owner of the land.
Ekisaliddwawo olwaleero mu kkooti nkisanyukidde nnyo kubanga kyembadde njagaliza embazzi kibuyaga nsuulidde. Njagala kukolawo byange ng'omuntu, nina investment zange ze njagala okukolerawo era ebyo byenteeseteese ne pulaani zange nazifuna, ekyo kye nnindiridde okukola. Bano bakyereeta abeewaŋŋamya ku ttaka lyange sibamanyi.
On 10th August 2020, St. Peter's Church of Uganda Ndeba was demolished following Justice John Kelly Tilima's judgment after awarding Dodoviko Mwanje as the owner. Deborah Namamonde, Nantongo Rebecca, UBC News.
Thanks, Deborah, for that report there, and that case continues. Community leaders in WABIGALO Machinde division are worried of increasing poor sanitation in the area. Eyo Ekongu Joseph, the chairman, Church Zone WABIGALO, says over 800 people dump waste in trenches due to lack of access to latrines.
An outbreak of cholera and other related diseases is imminent in WABIGALO Makinde Division, Kampala District, due to poor sanitation in slums. Residents living on over 6 acres could be the first culprits to be affected due to human waste dumped in the small trenches. When it rains, all waste is washed to the surface. The chairman, Church Zone WABIGALO, A.U. Ekong Joseph, says leaders have been ignored by different stakeholders on the sanitation situation.
We have tried like the community leaders, but we fail. We don't have the capacity. We always forward our things also through our councillors, through our MPs, but they go and do their things. They not come back and tell us that, please, we have talked and this is the solution to come in. So that those are the problem now we have. Otherwise, every corner has garbage. Every corner has garbage. As somebody was even telling us, some people are even using paper bags as toilet system, because some landlords in WABIGALO have houses, but they lack where to put the toilet. When you are coming to rent, they said, I don't have the toilet, you will use your 99. That's yeah. Others, they are frank, they said, okay, I have the house, but I don't have the toilet. If there's a way you can use your 99, fine. I reduce you the rate of the room.
Some residents seem not bothered with the situation, but brag about their immunity to fight infections.
People don't even use their toilets. They put in the cavera and bring into the Nyaras here, you see. And we are only lucky that people from here don't even fall sick. Even me, myself, but the smell which is always here. Too much smell. We thank God that He has kept us and we are not sick.
Worrying situation indeed, but how do you construct a house or a building without a toilet or a latrine? Who is to blame there? We'll now take a short break. We'll return with business.
Today in history.
At the 1936 Berlin Olympics, African-American Jesse Owens wins his 4th gold medal of the Games in the 4x100-meter relay. Jesse Owens and other African-American athletes struck a propaganda blow against Nazi leader Adolf Hitler, who planned to use the Berlin Games as a showcase of supposed Aryan superiority. In the end, 49 nations sent some 4,000 athletes to the Summer Olympics in Berlin.
We've cut and reduced MTN Momo withdrawal rates. Now you can withdraw mobile money at the lowest rates. You also get MTN Central Points when you deposit, send and withdraw MTN mobile money. Visit our Momo agents countrywide and withdraw mobile money at our reduced rates from 1st May 2021. Everywhere you go, MTN.
When John and Mary were 6 years old, they were introduced to savings by their parents and class teacher. They set dreams inspired by their saving clubs at school.
I'm saving for a ball. I'm saving for a school bag.
As time passed by, the set dreams were achieved, and they were further motivated to set fresh, bigger and better dreams, all of which came to pass.
I'm currently saving to buy a bicycle.
I'm now saving for an academic tour.
Dear parents, guardians and teachers, it is our duty to empower our children and people around us to make reasonable monetary choices and introducing a lifelong money-saving culture. Now is the time to start saving for our dreams and a much better tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the German Corporation, German Sparkassen Stiftung Eastern Africa, and Uganda Cooperative Savings and Credit Union.
Dear customer, be alert. Do not share your Airtel Money PIN or your OTP, also known as your one-time password. Airtel Uganda or our employees will never ask for your PIN or OTP. Always keep your PIN or OTP details confidential, even when you receive a call, SMS or email. The only official Airtel number for calling customers during a promotion is 0752 600 222. Stay alert
on Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Echa COVID-19 chijja kugwa only if we stay at home, observe physical distancing, wear masks properly, sanitize or wash our hands with soap and water regularly, or get vaccinated now.
Therefore, understanding this mode. Hey, excuse me, lady. Who do you think you are? A queen?
Hey, haven't you heard? Get Airtel Chillax bundles and browse like a queen.
Get Airtel Chillax bundles that do not expire and browse like a queen or king. Dial *175# or use My Airtel app.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back from that short break, and this is News Tonight, the first edition here on UBC TV. On sign language, it is Elizabeth Nakakoni, and I am Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma. Let's have a look now at what's happening in the world of business. BWINDI Impenetrable National Park has registered steady progress of 30% in visitors' recovery since reopening of the tourism sector following the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown. Chief Warden Nelson Guma says BWINDI Impenetrable National Park has intensive conservation efforts on behalf of the Ugandan Wildlife Authority and other partners.
BWINDI Impenetrable National Park has about 50% of the remaining population of Mount Gorillas in the world, with over 20 families that are habituated. BWINDI National Impenetrable Park Chief Warden Nelson Guma says progress has been registered on visitor recovery since the reopening of the tourism sector in September 2020.
From September 2020, I want to say that the number of visitors has been increasing, and right now, for June alone, we received 1,746. So I can say about 30% recovery. But during the time when we were closed to tourism, the main activity we were doing was to keep the gorillas habituated. So we are doing monitoring of all those gorilla groups. I can confirm to you that right now the gorillas are habituated just at the same level before we closed due to COVID.
Before the outbreak of COVID-19, gorilla tracking was one of the premier products in BWINDI, with over 3,000 visitors per month. When tourism was suspended due to COVID-19, tourists dropped for close to 5 months.
2020-2021, we got over 6,000 visitors, and we believe that these visitors are going to tell many more other people the experience you get right now of tracking gorillas. And so we expect this marketing, maybe through word of mouth, is going to probably double the numbers. And then plus other initiatives that we have as an organization doing marketing and promotions and so on, we are likely to bounce back in a matter of 2 to 3 years.
But the park has developed clear-cut guidelines for prevention and protection of the mountain gorillas and tourists.
So they still go through the same process. They wash their hands. We have hand washing facilities at our tourism centers. They sanitize, and then we take their temperatures. Then after that they go to the reception. We check the identification. But one important thing we do check is to find out whether they have a negative COVID test certificate.
BWINDI Park covers 32,000 hectares with more than 160 species of trees, over 1,000 species of ferns, birds and butterflies, as well as many endangered species, including Mount gorillas. Zahara Abigaba, UBC News.
Experience 100% 4G speeds across Uganda with the Airtel 4G Pocket Wi-Fi available at 123,000 shillings only. It comes with a backup battery and 15 GB free for 1 month. Visit the nearest Airtel shop, device selling shop or Airtel online shop. www.airtel.co.ug/broadband-discover. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Let's cross borders now and we go to Tunisia, where Tunisia has kicked off a vaccination open day drive against COVID-19 as 335 centers across 24 provinces started to vaccinate citizens aged 40 and above. The President's Office and the Ministry of Health organized the event with support from civic organizations and volunteers.
Said added that 6 million more will be supplied in the next few weeks.
I call on Tunisians throughout the country to get vaccinated during the open day and not to hesitate. Large quantities of vaccine and medical equipment are currently available. The obstacles have been removed and normal life will resume its course in Tunisia after these open days of vaccination.
According to the Health Department and the COVID-19 Task Force, 1.5 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines were made available for the walk-in vaccinations. These quantities were distributed to the 333 vaccination centers in the 24 governorates.
Even those who have not registered for vaccination can get their first jab in any vaccination center. Medics,
Sports news now, and Uganda's leader of delegation at the just ended Tokyo 2020 Olympics, Hamson Oboa, has highlighted return plans for the team that garnered 4 medals. Uganda finished 36th overall and second in Africa after an outing that collected 2 gold medals, a silver and bronze. We have more in this report.
And will touch down at Entebbe International Airport on Tuesday, 10 August 2021, aboard Emirates. Upon arrival in Entebbe, the team or the contingent or Team Uganda will have a scientific procession restricted only to the arriving team members from Entebbe through to Kampala.
And all roads will be leading to Entebbe International Airport tomorrow as we welcome those gallant sons of Uganda. Now, let's have a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow with Molen Kenyana.
Yes, a very good evening to you. Well, I'm here to take you through the weather report tonight. My name is Bolin Kenyina, and we shall remember that this is courtesy of Uganda National Meteorological Authority. Well, good news this evening. We did have rains across most areas within the country, especially the southern sector. We saw those showers across parts of Mubende, Mityana, also to western Uganda, Chegwegwa, Chenjojo. We did see those rains, even for central, across parts of Nakasongola. Now, that was all due to the rainy system that is now confined a little bit to the southern sector due to the weaknesses in high pressure systems that normally affect weather. Those are to the southern part of our continent. Well, at the same time, we did see those southeasterly moist winds coming in towards our country. Those also brought us rains, especially across Mount Elgon Highlands. Those were most especially within the morning and also throughout last night. According to the totals we had last night, we had Kampala also reporting a total of 26.1 millimeters. Now let's look ahead into our forecast for tomorrow. Well, in the morning, we will start off with those showers again across most areas within the country. Now we are likely to have sunny intervals still across central Lake Victoria Basin, parts of western Uganda, as well as the southwestern part of the country. That is where we have Kabale Highlands. But later in the afternoon, we are forecasting rainy conditions. Those will be across most parts within the country. Well, our daytime highs, we're forecasting a maximum of 27. That will be across the nation's capital, Kampala. Now, across the Karamoja region, we're expecting temperatures to rise up to 29. Quite a warm day over there. Also, for southwestern Uganda, we're likely to have temperatures rising up to 24 degrees centigrade. We'll also take you through a few cities that we have for you across the world where we are forecasting sunny intervals. Those will be across Mombasa as well as London. We have mist in the forecast for Dubai, but very hot weather. Temperatures will go up to 45 degrees centigrade. We're also forecasting rains, and that will be across New York as well as Paris. Well, with that, we come to the end of tonight's weather report. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Molin Kenyina, wishing you a good night.
Tomorrow afternoon, you expect some heavy showers almost everywhere in the country. Thanks once again, Molen, for arming us and getting us ready for tomorrow afternoon. Now, before we leave you, let's have a look at our top stories. In our top stories tonight, 15 arcades that opened without KCCA consent closed down in Kampala. Police denies holding Lumbuye, but has constituted 15 cases against him. Elsewhere in the world, Tunisia launches vaccine open day for walk-in inoculations. And in sports, Team Uganda expected back on Tuesday to be received scientifically. And that brings us to the end of the first edition of News Tonight here on UBC TV. Thank you so much for having kept us company. See you in the next few hours on sign language. It has been Elizabeth Nakakoni. I'm Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma. Catch you at 10.
Tonight on UBC.
Mulwadde bw'aba yeetaaga kkanula kiba kitegeeza yeetaaga kitanda. Kuba omulwadde tumuwa eddagala okusinziira bw'aba ali bw'aba muyi era tumuwa eddagala nga liyita musiwa.